Something in my throat. Jesus.
Hello. So I've been thinking a lot about like things that we can do as like individuals that are eco-friendly, and I was thinking about how eco-friendly my eating is in general, and that kind of got me into a rabbit hole of Googling like what are the most eco-friendly foods and what kind of things that you should consider when trying to eat more eco-friendly. So I thought that I would challenge myself today to find what the 3 most eco-friendly meals are for someone that's living in Toronto this time of year, so January, and what those are. And a huge thank you to Blue Land, who's sponsoring today's video. Very important. For breakfast, I've decided to make these Polish apple pancakes. This has been on my list of to-do recipes for a little while, and it actually turns out to be very eco-friendly. So when deciding the recipes that I planned out for today, I wanted to think about like what are the things I need to consider. So they need to be somewhat local or like farmed in the country. In Ontario would be even better. They have to be seasonal. Obviously, they have to be plant-based because that is the most eco-friendly way that you can eat. To a bowl of flour, I'm going to add some yeast, some sugar, and some salt. I'm gonna whisk that until it's well combined. So believe it or not, fun little fact that I learned in my research is that Ontario is a high producer of wheat, which lowers its carbon footprint because you don't have as much transportation than if you were to buy wheat from America. Along with having like a lower transport emissions footprint, you're also supporting local agriculture, which we love. Okay, I'm going to add the wet ingredients. We have some butter, some warmed soy milk, and egg replacer. Wheat is also a low water crop, compared to other grains, which also makes it obviously eco-friendly. Oh, that's perfect. All right, I'm gonna set this aside. Of course, we need apple in our apple pancakes. So we're gonna peel, core, and cut up the apple into little pieces. I'm going to do smaller chunks just because I prefer that. Apples are in season in Ontario, and they're widely available during the late fall and like early winter months. Local orchards store them in climate-controlled conditions, ensuring fresh and low-carbon options throughout the winter. Because Ontario is such a high producer of apples, we have the transportation thing cut down, lower emissions that way because I live in Ontario. Obviously, in this recipe, we are avoiding any sort of dairy or eggs because emissions with animal agriculture are so high and contribute to global warming so much, almost more than any other industry. Being vegan and just making vegan recipes themselves is the best choice. All right, so it's been like an hour now, and ooh, it's risen a little bit. There's bubbles. The yeast is definitely active. This dough is a bit thicker than your regular pancake dough. So if your dough is pretty thick, don't worry, it's supposed to be like that. For frying, I'm just gonna fry these in a little bit of oil. I'm just gonna plop them down there until they're about a 3-inch pancake and spread them out a little bit, and then just cook them for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. I like to put them on a wire baking rack with a baking sheet underneath. That way any excess oil can just drip off and they remain nice and crispy. Cooking pancakes is also considered to be a low energy meal because it's really quick and you're just frying on the stovetop, making it more efficient. Normally you would top this with a little bit of powdered sugar, but in Canada, I think maple syrup is probably the most eco-friendly thing. Okay, I'm so excited. Let's try this. Oh, it's like a little bit crispy because it's fried. It's light and pillowy and fluffy because of the yeast, which is really nice. The apples are still a little bit crisp, which I like because, if you've been here for years, you know that I don't like hot fruit. So the apples are like warm but a little bit crisp. That is delicious. And there's our first eco-friendly recipe of the day. Speaking of doing our best for the environment, let's talk about today's sponsor, Blue Land. So for 2025, one of my goals, I don't really love resolutions. I like being more mindful. And one of the things I want to be more mindful about is reducing my plastic waste and just waste in general, and just thinking about my impact on the planet. And so I've decided to make the switch to Blue Land. Now I use their dishwasher pods, which I love, and I just got a new shipment of their laundry pods. There's a lot of reasons why I love Blue Land. Not only do they come in these adorable little containers, which I think are so cute, but it helps reduce packaging waste. Did you know that those dishwasher tablets have plastic on it? We have enough microplastics out there already. I don't want to be eating more of it. And when I found out that humans eat about a credit card's worth of plastic in a week, I was like, okay, that's it, I'm making the change. They have no plastic waste or compostable or recyclable packaging. All of their products are free of phosphates, chlorine bleach, parabens. They're hypoallergenic and they're sourced from vegan and non-GMO ingredients. There is no single-use plastic in any Blueland component, from bottles, tablets, and wrappers to their shipping. Their tablet refill packaging is also fully compostable. Their dishwasher tablets are proven to perform on baked on and burnt on stains. No rinse aid is needed. And their laundry tablets lift even the toughest stains, from grass stains to food stains. I have bad ADHD, so I really love that they have a totally customizable subscription service so that you never run out of products and you get even more savings. If you've been looking to reduce your waste, today is your lucky day, because Blueland has given me a 15% off code to extend to you. You can either scan the QR code, which is right here, or follow the link in the description box down below. I've been using Blueland for a couple months now, and I know that you're gonna love it. And thank you so much to Blueland for sponsoring today's video. Lunchtime. For lunch, I'm craving a chili, and surprise, surprise, chili is a very eco-friendly meal. It's also a very cheap meal. If you're looking for something that's like packed with nutrients and not very expensive, beans are always the way to go. I'm just gonna make like a very simple chili. Kidney beans, I buy them dried. That is the most efficient way to buy them, most eco-friendly, cheapest as well. I have some leftover sweet potato in my fridge from 2 days ago from another recipe that I made. I have a recipe for pumpkin chili, but I feel like sweet potato chili is just as good. Might as well use it up if I have it. Now, peppers, not eco-friendly at all. Probably one of the worst vegetables in terms of eco-friendliness. However, I had one in my fridge. It was about to turn, so we are using it. We are reducing waste, which makes it more eco-friendly. And then jalapenos, onion, canned tomato. For the dried kidney beans, I like to cook them in the Instant Pot. If you soak them overnight, you only cook them for like 25 minutes. If you don't soak them, which I often forget, just cook them in the Instant Pot for 50 minutes and then you're good to go. So the beans are in the Instant Pot. I did soak them, so 25 minutes, but I'm gonna start on the rest of the chili here. So heating up some olive oil, and then I'm going to sweat the aromatics. So I'm going to add the onion and the garlic. I'm gonna cook that until translucent, about 3 to 5 minutes. Then I'm going to add in my jalapenos and my orange pepper and just cook those for another like couple minutes, just until they're a little bit soft. At this point, I'm just going to add in my spices. I like to add my spices in with the rest of the vegetables just to bloom them. Now adding in the tomatoes. You can use whatever canned tomatoes that you want. These ones are diced, you can use crushed, whatever. Now the sweet potato. So sweet potatoes are a low impact crop, I learned, which means that they use less fertilizer and less water, which makes it a lot more eco-friendly, of course, and better for the environment. Also, they are nutritionally dense. Like, they're like a real nutrition powerhouse. Add in those kidney beans. I'm also going to add in about a cup of that cooking liquid just to thin it out a little bit. And I'm also going to add in 1 cup of broth. So kidney beans, beans in general, and legumes are another low impact food. So again, less water and less fertilizer. Also, if you get them dried, their shelf life, so the fact that you put them on like a counter, cuts down on waste and storage energy. All the ingredients are in here. I'm just going to simmer it for like 30-ish minutes just so all the flavors can meld, and then we can eat. Oh, and in terms of cooking, chili recipes typically require simmering. That is another low energy cooking method compared to baking or roasting a dish. Now, obviously you can top your chili with all kinds of things, but in the name of only using the most eco-friendly ingredients, I'm not going to do that. Oh, that's so good. It's very simple, but it's so tasty. All right, gotta get thinking about dinner. What are we gonna do for dinner? All right. Dinner time. I have a bunch of things from my fridge that I want to use up. I have some mashed potatoes, and I have these like odds and ends of veggies from a soup that I made earlier this week. So I'm thinking of making a shepherd's pie. Actually, I'm not thinking about it. That's what we're gonna do. So instead of any sort of like veggie meat, we're going to use lentils. Canada is one of the largest producers of lentils, just legumes in general, actually. So in terms of transportation, we love this. It's local. It's also one of the most eco-friendly like proteins that you can eat because it produces significantly less carbon emissions compared to beef. Potatoes, carrots, and onions are actually grown domestically as well, and they all have a super low carbon footprint, and they are hardy vegetables, so they stay in the winter with less refrigeration than a lot of other things. All right, so I'm gonna start with the beans. I'm going to cook them with 3 cups of vegetable broth. These are going to cook covered for about 20 minutes. This has been a cooking heavy day, so I'm using my chopper to do all this because I have it, so why not? Got garlic and onion. I'm going to cook up my onions and my garlic until they are translucent. I'm going to toss in my carrots and my celery. Okay, I want to cook these down. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and then cook them for like 3 to 5 minutes until they've sweat a little bit and are cooked down. For my spices, we've got some rosemary, a couple teaspoons of parsley, and a teaspoon of thyme. I'm going to let that cook for about 1 minute or until it's fragrant. And then I'm going to add in my tomato paste. The lentils are almost done. I'm going to add a tablespoon of flour to my pan. That's just gonna help thicken up the sauce for the lentils a bit. For some extra flavor, I have this oyster sauce that's vegetarian. It's made out of mushrooms. It is so good. Half of a teaspoon of mustard powder, and in go the lentils with all the broth. Frozen peas, some frozen corn. I'm going to bring everything back up to a boil and then let it simmer until it's nice and thick and that sauce thickens up a bit. Okay, let's see if I can get all this in here. Yes. Get those leftover taters on there. And the mashed potatoes that I'm using really just have soy milk, plant-based butter, and garlic powder in them. This is going in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. Oven's at 400. And I also have a little tray in the bottom there just in case it bubbles over so that I don't make my oven dirty, because then I'll never clean it and then it'll just burn smoke every time I cook. Oh, it bubbled over. Well, it's not aesthetic, but it'll be delicious. All right, dinner time. This looks so great. Still sad that it bubbled over, but whatever. Ooh, the top is crispy. Oh, that's really hot. Oh, I like it. This is so good. It's really nice with the lentils. I love lentils, so I knew I was going to love it. So what did I learn doing this little experiment? I learned that the most eco-friendly foods take into account supporting local agriculture, seasonal eating, so eating things that are in season for your area, buying things where you use the bulk of it, so things like carrots and potatoes, and then reducing packaging. So a huge thank you again to Blue Land. Make sure that you check out their products. I'm going to leave a link in the description box down below. You get 15% off when you use that link, or you can also just snap a little quick pic of this QR code right here. Thank you so much for supporting the Edgy Veg, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!